So we're going to do a video over literal equations. Literal equations are going to be equations where the answers are not going to be nice and neat. So you're probably going to not like this because we like answers that give us like x equals 3 or a equals 5. But these answers are not going to be that nice and neat. So this is more about trying to get the letter by itself than it is about so much what the answer looks like. And so as long as we're following all the rules, don't worry about what the answer looks like. Just make sure that you follow the rules, okay? And so we're going to draw our line right here. This right here is telling me that we want to get y by itself. And so I'm going to circle the y. And so remember, we're still following these same rules. Like I said, don't worry about what the answer looks like. Just worry about we've got to follow the rules to make sure that we get y by itself. So this is the inside of the onion. There is no layer right here, but there is this outer layer. So the only layer we got to take care of is this outer layer right there. And so this 3 and x are together, okay? And so if this is a positive 3x, I can get rid of this by subtracting 3x, okay? So we have a rule that says that I can do that. I can do anything I want to an equation, but if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. And so this is going to get rid of this 3x and leave me with just a y right there. And so first off, that's what I was looking for. I just wanted to get that y by itself. Now here's the tough part. Most people are going to want to combine these right here. But you can't combine a negative 3x with a 7. And so this is where people freak out and they just stop. And so we want to get you past that freaked out part. So there's 2 ways that you can write this. First off, you can write it the way you see it, which what do you see right now? 7 minus 3x. So you can write this like 7 minus 3x. And there's nothing wrong with that, and this is your answer right here. However, normally, whenever you see answers like this, they always put the x up front. And so another way to write this, so remember this 7 is positive, kind of like a plus sign, is you could write this as y equals and put the negative 3x up front. That's kind of an ugly looking x right there. There we go. And then this positive 7 can go in the back, and because it's positive, we put a plus 7. Both of these answers are acceptable, but multiple choice answers usually tend to be written like this. And so this is why I want to make sure that you're familiar with this, is if you're doing a multiple choice. Now, if you're just doing it for me, I would accept either of these. But multiple choice, it will usually look like this. The x will be put up front. All right, so here's another one where we're going to try to get y by itself. All right, so here's my y. Okay, this is the inside of the onion. This would be my next layer, that 2 right there, and then the outside layer would be this 8x. So we're going to get rid of the 8x first. So we're going to minus 8x, which is fine. I can do that, but you got to do it to both sides. So minus 8x. So that will cancel this out, and we're left with 2y is equal to, okay, so like I said, you can write this either way, but I'm going to write the 8x first. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 8x, and then a positive 1 would be plus 1. But y is not by itself. And so we've got this invisible math. This is multiplication, so we're going to divide to get rid of it. And there's 2 ways you can do this. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and divide both of these by 2. The other way is to divide the whole thing by 2. But I like to separate them, and you'll kind of see why here in a second. So that gets rid of this, and y is now by itself. Negative 8 divided by 2 would be negative 4. So one negative makes the whole thing negative. And then the x. And then this right here, 1/2, 2 doesn't go into 1. This is going to stay a fraction. So plus 1/2. And I know we may not like fractions, but just because you don't like it doesn't mean that you can't just bring it down. So this right here would be your answer. And if you wanted to put the 1 first and put 1 minus 8x, then these two would simply be reversed. So here's another question, and this one's a little bit different than the two that we just got through doing because this has parentheses. And so we've learned that anytime there's parentheses, we can do distributive property, and I like to draw these mountaintops to get rid of the parentheses. And mountaintops mean to multiply. So we're going to multiply -2 times x to get a -2x. We're going to multiply -2 times 3. One negative makes the whole thing negative, and 2 times 3 is 6. And then we'll bring down y plus 5. So let me draw my line right here. All right, so we're going to circle the variable we want to get by itself. I forgot to write 4y, but we've been getting y by itself, so we're going to keep doing that. All right, so I need to get rid of this plus 5 right here. And so I'm going to minus 5. Now the question is, I know I need to do this on the other side, but where? Are we going to put it here, or are we going to put it here? Well, we want to put it with the like terms. And so in this case, I'm going to write the minus 5 underneath the 6 because these are like terms. Neither of them have an x. So these will cancel out, and we have y by itself is equal to -2x. And then the rule is if the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign. So 6 plus 5 is 11, and we keep the sign. So this would be our answer. So the majority of what you're going to have to do in algebra will look like this right here, where we're just trying to get y by itself. But sometimes we have stuff that looks like this. We may have to manipulate formulas, or we may have to do all sorts of stuff, but it looks like this. And notice there's no numbers. This is what typically freaks everybody out. I want to show you, you have the ability to do this. Once again, we don't care what the answer looks like. All we care about is accomplishing our goal of getting y by itself. And so your job is not to worry about what it looks like, okay? If this is my variable, then my first layer is going to be the b, and then the outside layer will be the ax. And so we're going to get rid of this first. And I know you're saying, well, what's an ax? It doesn't matter. It's positive, so how do we get rid of it? We're going to minus ax. And then if I minus it from here, I'm going to minus it from here. Now, because this is not a basic equation like these where they tend to put the x first, it's okay to write this the way you see it. So I'm going to write by is equal to, it's not to say that they wouldn't switch this around, but a lot of times they tend to just write these as they're doing them. So c minus ax. Okay, we can't combine these, so we just simply write down what we see. So don't stress over it. Just simply write down what you see. Okay, now we have invisible math right here. And so this means to multiply. So how do we get rid of it? We divide. Now remember me telling you there were two ways you could do this. On the last one, we divided everything by whatever we were dividing by. On this one, and there's not one right way or wrong way, but on this one, I'm going to divide the whole thing by b. If you wanted to, you could divide each of these by b. If this was multiple choice, you would just simply look at your answers to see how they want it. If you're doing it for me, I would take it either way. So these cancel out, and your answer, y is by itself. That was our goal. And that's what I'm saying. You have the ability to do this. Don't sit there and focus in on what you don't know. Okay, what does this mean? I don't know. I just simply did this. Okay, and so don't worry about what it means other than the fact that you were able to get this by itself. And so your answer would be c minus ax, all that over b. All right, well, I hope this helped.